Can Tiger Woods win again on the PGA Tour? And more specifically, can Tiger Woods break back into the winner's circle at a major? It's a very interesting question with a lot of variables at play, so let's break it down. First off, let's talk about Tiger's golf swing, which is something that we have seen on display recently at the PNC Championship and at the Hero World Classic, which is the event that he hosts. From what I've seen out of Tiger Woods' golf swing, he's certainly getting older. He's certainly had a lot go on with his body medically, where he has had to continuously alter and adjust his golf swing. In terms of speed and distance, I don't think that we're seeing as big a loss of distance and swing speed as many people thought. The ball that he hits, especially off the tee, is still getting down there. I think that's obviously because Tiger works very closely with TaylorMade to get the perfect clubs for him. He's probably getting a very customized golf ball to what he likes to play. There are certainly aspects of Tiger's swing that have faltered throughout all of the procedures and all of the rehab that he has had to do. But although he is trending in the not so great direction for swing speed and distance, I don't think the way that he stands now, it's going to affect him very negatively for this season and maybe the season to come. That being said, because Tiger has had to adjust his swing, the surgery on the left ankle has certainly affected his weight transfer through the golf swing. So mechanically, he's not as familiar with what he is swinging on the golf course. If you look at his swings throughout his career, though, he was always changing. He was always adapting his golf swing. And what many people speculate is that often came to his detriment. He frequently changed swing coaches. He saw sustained success through that period, although some people think that if he stuck with one coach and made less swing overhauls, not only would he have probably won more on the PGA Tour, probably won more majors, he also would have stayed healthier, avoided a lot of the back issues that he had. But all of that to say is that Tiger may actually be fairly comfortable with all of the new aspects of his golf swing just because he's comfortable with new golf swings. He's been there before, he's made changes, so we'll see how comfortable he can get with the current iteration of his swing. One thing that I have found interesting and probably the most notable pain point for what we've seen out of Tiger in the past year is the short game. It has looked pretty rusty at times, and this is kind of an interesting dynamic because when you think about someone like Tiger, who's been in a lot of pain, lacking stamina, lacking the ability to practice the full swing a ton, he should be able to be spending a lot of time on the putting green and working on different chip shots. And maybe he is. I would assume that Tiger Woods, pretty famous for putting in the work, has been putting in the work. But as of right now, that work hasn't really translated to great play around the greens. His putting, his feel just looks a little bit off. I get it that you're not always going to be hooping putts like Tiger did in his prime, but the distance control on his lag putts has really left something to be desired. That's something that we saw across the majors that he's played in the past couple years, and even the past couple weekends here in November and December. Tiger just seems to be a little bit wayward in his short game. I know that he's played around with different putters. He's always changing out his wedges, playing around with different golf shots in terms of, not just hitting a standard bump and run. Tiger's always had good hands out of the sand. He can go up with it. He can hit a 5-iron bump and run, but that versatility remains to really be seen in his recent play. So if we can see Tiger really sharpen up that short game, that's something that can absolutely bail him out when, maybe that driver swing isn't as dialed in. A huge positive that I've seen from Tiger, and we really saw this at Augusta in a couple of his fights that we've seen in the past few years, is the shot shaping. I think that not only is Tiger Woods an incredibly creative player, but he is really able to hit all kinds of trajectories on command, and he's able to do so fairly masterfully. In his prime, he did it better than anyone, and even now, as someone who is notably older than a lot of his competitors, I feel like his shot shaping is still better than a lot of golfers. Many golfers who see great success on the PGA Tour are very, very good at one ball flight. And Tiger Woods is very, very good at one ball flight. But he can also switch it up and turn to different flights, different trajectories, and he can do it very effectively, and he can do it in rapid succession. Not a lot of golfers can hit a big fade off the tee and then a low draw right in the next shot for the approach. And Tiger has been able to pretty seamlessly do that on the course. I know that Augusta National is a course that really requires requires some creativity, and we've seen Tiger be able to lean on that creativity, both from a course management standpoint, but mechanically as well. Now, one thing that's very important to understand when talking about Tiger Woods winning again on the PGA Tour, and especially winning a major, is that Tiger Woods will not be competing as much as he did, say throughout the majority of his career, and even what we've seen from, 2018 to 2020, right before the COVID shutdown. Tiger was playing a little bit more than an event a month. He would play all the majors, all the big events, and then he would play a few other tournaments throughout the year. He will not be doing that. He's said he's going to target maybe one a month, which with the off season, which would total about 10 events each year. Again, it remains to be seen if he'll do that. I do expect him to play all the majors, but he will not be having as many chances to win events, and he'll only be playing against very, very stacked fields when he does so, which obviously reduces his chances of returning to the winner's circle. However, it should be noted that Tiger being overly selective on the tournaments that he plays, it means that he will be only entering events that he knows he has a chance to compete in. And I think we can look at a lot of the major champion venues, especially the Masters tournament and Augusta National, as courses that he knows like the back of his hand. And those are courses where even if he's not playing the best golf that week, he can still compete and even win the golf tournament because he has course knowledge and the ability to read greens, the ability to hit and even miss greens in the right area. He knows what club to hit off of each tee. I would venture to say that in 2019, when Tiger Woods won the Masters, he may not have had the best week in terms of how he was playing golf, but he thought his way around the course better than any other competitor. The final note that must be considered with Tiger Woods' return to the winner's circle is his stamina and his ability to practice and work on his game. When Tiger Woods was at his very peak and it seemed like he was winning every event that he played in, it was because he was working harder than every other player. It was because on the golf course, he was thinking and physically exerting himself more than any other player. And at his age and at his physical ability, and now at his current age and at his physical ability, he cannot do that. He cannot practice the way that he wants to. I'm sure that we've all heard about his, 10-hour practice days that he would have back in the early 2000s. He can't do that anymore. Not only is he physically unable to do it, but mentally, it's hard to imagine a world where he's as focused and as hungry as he was back in his early 20s when he had very high expectations and everything to prove. He now has kids to care for, more business ventures that we could possibly know, media obligations. He's not as focused on his golf, especially from the practice standpoint. Now talking about the actual tournament weeks, his physical stamina to play 4 straight 18-hole rounds, it's there in the sense that he can play the rounds, but he really can't get around as he wishes he could. Considering where he was just a couple of years ago physically, it's frankly miraculous that Tiger Woods can play 4 straight days of competitive golf, play 18 holes for 4 straight days. It's much more physically taxing than any of us can probably understand, but for him to have the ability to do it is admirable. And if there's one thing that we know, Tiger Woods can certainly surprise us. So at this point in his career, and again, this is my personal opinion, knowing what I know, I would be very surprised if Tiger Woods won again on the PGA Tour. I would be even more surprised if he won a major. However, I will say in 2018, I didn't think he would win a tournament again. And what did he do? He went on to win the Tour Championship at Eastlake against the 30 best golfers that year, which was very impressive. And then less than a year after that, he went to Augusta National and he won the Masters Golf Tournament in 2019. With a sensational performance. I've been wrong about Tiger Woods before. I'm rooting for him on the golf course. I hope he wins again. I just know that it will be an upward battle with all of the competition that he sees in professional golf right now. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. People are all over the spectrum on this issue. Do you think that Tiger can play healthy for a year or two? Do you think that he should hang it up? I know that he's spoken about retiring only when he feels like he can't compete. So obviously, he still feels like he can compete mentally and physically. So we'll see how he plays this next year. Feel free to subscribe to the Scratch Golf Tips YouTube channel. Thank you all very much for watching. Play well and take care.